Welcome back to Icon on the Internet. Okay, so tonight I have this vid and it's called The Most Explosive Superstar Relationship in Hip Hop History. If I had money for every single toxic relationship that there has been out there, both publicly and not so public, I'd be a trillionaire. But yeah, I'm just curious to see how toxic this relationship was. But yeah, rest in peace, Biggie. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into this reaction.
When you think of some of hip-hop's biggest power couples, some names that might come to mind are Beyonce and Jay-Z, maybe more recently Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, perhaps even Offset and Cardi B. But before all of them, in the 90s, there was Lil Kim and the Notorious B.I.G., who were perhaps the biggest hip-hop couple ever seen at that time. Biggie was and still is a legendary rapper who had a crazy flow, great storytelling, and a classic catalog, as well as commercial sales to back his stats up.
Very true.
Kim, on the other hand, helped the female rap scene find its identity, differentiated herself, some would say broke a lot of barriers, and find fans who would make the genre bigger in the future. The two met in the early 90s, and funnily enough, hip-hop is exactly what brought Lil Kim and Biggie together. At the time, Kim was about 17, turning 18, and completely unknown to a larger audience, although she was frequently practicing her skills in impromptu rap battles in the streets of Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn. That's how Biggie and Lil Kim met. Biggie just happened to see Kim during one of these performances and decided to speak with her, even asking her to rap a little for him.
I don't remember most of it, but I did have some kind of Jamaican chant in it then. I said something crazy like, I'm so hot, I'm hotter than the sun. Now where the man? I was doing a bogo and Big was like, ooh.
That's when he knew she would become a big hip-hop star one day. The two started off as friends, although soon after it was obvious that there was something more than just friendship between Lil Kim and Biggie. At the time, Biggie was still dating his high school sweetheart and baby mama, Jan Jackson, so his relationship with Kim wasn't quote-unquote legitimized until late 1993 when Biggie called it quits with his baby mama. Thus, the Lil Kim and Biggie saga officially started. Biggie's first power move with Kim was forming a junior mafia, a rap group consisting of Big's longtime friends, including Lil Kim herself, who was the only female member in the faction. Biggie actively started coaching Lil Kim and mentored her artistically. He taught Kim his signature cadence and flow and allegedly even helped her write some of her tracks for the debut album Hardcore. People usually give Kim less credit than she deserves for her tracks, as many people believe that Biggie completely created Lil Kim from scratch, which was debunked by people who worked with both in the mid-90s. Jacob York, who worked as a producer for Hardcore, said on multiple occasions that while Biggie trained and helped Lil Kim get her groove, he never specifically wrote raps for her records. As Jacob York once mentioned in the interview, it was more about her being taught how to rap, because Kim always understood what to write. Understanding this fact is important to get a better idea of what Kim and Biggie's relationship was actually like. All things suggest that Kim wasn't just Biggie's supporting cast, and in her own words, Biggie became my friend, my lover, my everything. I was his biggest fan. He knew I would be the biggest female rapper. I think I inspired him to want to do different things and be different. We were a match made in heaven, like Sonny and Cher or Ashford and Simpson. Unfortunately for her, Biggie couldn't stay in a monogamous relationship for long. And less than a year after the official start of his relationship with Lil Kim, he met his future wife, Faith Evans, on the set of a photo shoot for Bad Boy Records. In multiple interviews, Biggie mentioned that he knew that Faith Evans was that woman from the get-go.
Damn.
After the photo shoot, they exchanged numbers, which led to a couple of outings, and only 8 days after their first meeting, Biggie proposed to Faith Evans. In his own words,
8 days.
I married her
8 days. I thought 30 days was like a fast proposal or whatever. But nah, 8 days though, bruv. 8 days. Damn, 8 days. That's just crazy.
After knowing her 8 days, and I was happy. That was my baby. At the same time, with us being so spontaneous, we did it backwards. Only a month after that, the two got married, though allegedly, Biggie never stopped dating Lil Kim. thus creating a heated and dramatic love triangle.
An
Although things
entanglement.
were relatively calm for the three, as, according to Faith Evans, she had no idea about Kim being Biggie's mistress for at least a year and a half into her marriage with B.I.G. Biggie and Evans even had a kid together during this period of time, and everything was looking smooth, at least on the surface level. Faith Evans even admitted to spending time with Lil' Kim, going to the gym and different malls to shop together, as Biggie was encouraging them to do so. Faith even went as far as saying that she actually adored Kim, and when they met for the first time, Faith Evans had no inkling of anything going on with Lil' Kim and Big. She also added that, sadly, it was far from the first situation of that kind she had with Biggie at that point. You could say he was Big Pimpin'. Regardless of what he thought of Kim at the time,
Man had 2 women on the go. He had a wife here, and he had a mistress. Lord, that shit's crazy. But wow, man really did mix business with pleasure there, didn't he? Damn.
she was absolutely furious when she found out about Biggie's affair with Lil' Kim. One day, Faith Evans took matters into her own hands and went on a quest to finally catch Big and Kim in the act. Faith Evans described the situation in full detail in her Keep the Faith memoir. I drove to Big's house on a mission to find out where I really stood in Big's life. I parked in the rear of Big's townhouse and walked up to the garage. It was locked, but I did know that there was a certain way to unlock it. Then Evans tiptoed in the elevator and got to the second floor where Notorious B.I.G.'s bedroom was. Faith Evans stormed the door, and the next thing happened. I grabbed some chick out of the bed and started beating her ass. I stopped throwing punches for a minute to get a good look at the chick I was beating up. It was Lil' Kim. Despite all the rage and confusion Evans was filled with at the time, she still had pity for Lil' Kim. I have to say I actually felt some pity for Kim. Big had a wife, and she settled for messing with him. Then he started dating Tiffany, rapper Charlie Baltimore, and Big had a wife and a mistress, and Kim still settled for being the other woman. It seemed pretty sad to settle for that. Charlie Baltimore, whom Evans mentioned in her memoir, was another woman linked to Biggie at the time. The two met at one of Biggie's live shows in Philadelphia, which is
I haven't heard Charlie
Baltimore's
Baltimore's name in
hometown.
ages.
Baltimore asked B.I.G. for a photo after the concert. The two started chatting, and mere days after the situation, they had their own thing going on. Lil' Kim was recording her debut album Hardcore during this period of time, and heard the rumors of Biggie having one more girl on the side. This led to an already difficult creative process being complicated by some...
It's already a
love-
square
I guess
already.
you could call it a love square now.
Jesus.
As Lil' Kim recalled, we had a big-ass fight. I had heard about him and some girl. We were talking about what happened, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm going at him. We're just going at it. And I hit Biggie so hard, I said, "You have to stay because I might need you to help me with my lines." And he was like, "I'm not helping you. I'll hear it when it's done." She remembered. Lil' Kim felt like she was left behind with all the other women around B.I.G., and all Kim wanted was Biggie to treat her like a baby, be with her 24/7, and she needed, quote, his support in the studio as well. Just like Faith Evans said, there were way more women in Biggie's life than the public knows about, and even Lil' Kim, who was Big's mistress for years, had to constantly deal with that. In one of the interviews, Kim recalled a situation where Biggie allegedly beat someone up and was taken to court, and she had to testify to help him stay out of trouble. The problem was that very day, Lil' Kim caught Biggie with another unnamed girl. I was really mad as hell. I had caught Biggie effing a girl, like in action. And I was
No.
sick, and I had just bailed him out of jail that day too. Unfortunately, the lack of support,
Nah.
Big's constant affairs with different women, and dramas were exactly the reasons Lil' Kim had to make some tough decisions throughout her time with him. During the same time gap before the release of Lil' Kim's debut project, she found out that she was pregnant. Kim for sure
Oh, I heard about
was
this
Big's
story.
kid. Lil' Kim told about it to her sister, her mother, her producer, and Biggie himself. Kim's mother and sister were very supportive and encouraged Lil' Kim to decide what to do next herself, while Kim's producer and Biggie weren't fans of the idea of Kim keeping that child as it was. In Big's own words, not good for the business, and that it was the wrong time for that. Lil' Kim's producer gave her some money, and she went to the hospital shortly after. Years later, Kim spoke on that situation. "I already knew the kind of relationship that Biggie and I had, and I knew that having a child was something that couldn't take place. As Kim's close friend, Iasera, said, I think to this day she wishes she would have had it, but she couldn't do it. It wasn't her time. In the end, Faith
Ooh, that's
Evans couldn't
sad.
handle all the roller coaster of emotions Biggie's lifestyle brought into her life, so she prioritized herself and moved from his house, which led to her relationship with Big slowly fading. Allegedly, they were on and off several times, and even though they were still officially a married couple, Biggie still had an ongoing relationship with Lil' Kim and Charlie Baltimore at the time. Eventually, the two broke up for good, with Biggie saying, maybe Faith won't admit it, but I will. We should have got to know each other and then got married. The relationship kind of dissolved, but we're still going to be friends. Lil' Kim, on the other hand, was still with Big to his very last days, both romantically and business-wise. Kim recalled the last conversation she had with Biggie and their plans before his passing.
We were going through some things, and it was business related. It really wasn't personal. And, I wanted to do something, and he didn't want me to do it. And we were going through some things, and that weekend, we were going through this for a long time, and it was major. And that weekend, I don't know, he must have had a turn of events or a change of heart, and he was like, you know what, Ma? I decided whatever it is you want to do, I'm going to support you because I love you. He actually told me I'm a beautiful person inside and out. He told me that.
Lil' Kim also added that it was unusual for Biggie to express his true feelings like that, so perhaps he knew that something was wrong days before his passing. On March 8, 1997, Biggie was shot dead in a drive-by shooting incident. The rap world was shaken, especially given that another young, extremely talented, and influential rapper, Tupac, died not so long ago in a similar fashion. Both Lil' Kim and Faith Evans, who were still officially Biggie's wife at the moment of his death, were present at his funeral. The two were obviously not getting along for many, many years, dissing each other in their songs, refusing to collaborate on numerous occasions, and even ignoring each other whenever they met in real life. However, after a 2-decade-long feud, Lil' Kim and Faith Evans finally
I was looking for ways to try and make some money online. I tried so many different methods, but literally nothing was working.
embraced each other. In 2016, Faith Evans invited Lil' Kim to participate in the creation of the album The King and I, dedicated to Biggie's legacy.
Oh, okay.
Kim accepted the invitation and was featured on the track Lovin' You for Life with Faith Evans. Now, the two even go as far as calling themselves, quote, sisters. And for many fans who
that's
know their
nice.
history, that makes perfect sense, as both were in love with the same man and had to deal with the same issues both during and after Biggie's life. They were sister wives without even knowing it.
Yeah, pretty
Kim
much.
had participated in different projects to help fans see what Big was really like in real life throughout all the years since his passing. Sadly, not all things that happened between the two were happy. Kim opened up about the dark side of her relationship with Biggie back in 2017. We did have a very violent relationship. I hate that. For a while, that was all I attracted, violent men. It is what it is. He was everything. You know how it is when you're in the industry. The guys can do whatever they want, but you can't do anything. You can't do nothing. There was even a story of Biggie pulling a gun on Kim when she couldn't finish the feature verse for one of Usher's tracks. According to one of the producers, Jermaine Dupri, Lil' Kim got to the studio in a bad mental state for rapping and couldn't get the job done.
At this particular point in time, this was the time when Big, I'm thinking he fucked Kim's sister. And she found out about
What?
it. So she was upset when she came to the studio about this.
Wait, he what?
At the point in time, this was the
Say that
time
again.
when Big, I'm thinking he fucked Kim's sister.
Hi! Her sister. Man had a wife, another side chick, and was fucking your sister too, and you still stay. Wow. She was a ride or die. She was putting up with all this shit. Damn.
And she found out about it. So she was upset when she came to the studio about this. And he couldn't really get her to do the rap. And me and Usher was just, we was there, young, watching what's going on, and Big pulled the strap out on her.
As Dupree said,
Bruh.
Biggie did that to let Kim know he was going to kill her, thus motivating her to finish the recording process. Later, Lil' Kim confirmed the story, adding that the girl in question wasn't indeed her sister, but rather a close friend of hers. Biggie
Oh.
didn't believe Kim that the girl was her friend and had an affair with her just to prove his point. There were actually other incidents of that nature between the two.
We We started fighting. And we
Oh,
tore
my
the
bad.
plaques off the wall and
The
everything.
friend. It was a
And he
friend,
choked me
not
out in the
a
elevator,
sister.
so I passed
Okay.
out.
But damn, it's still not okay though.
Still loving this man after
I
all of
don't
this.
know why. I don't know why. But
Although, after all those years, Lil' Kim recalls her time with Biggie with maturity and self-reflection. Listen, a lot of us are not proud about certain parts of our past and the way we might have handled situations. There have also been rumors for decades saying that Faith Evans and Biggie's love for her eventually marrying her was part of the reason for a lot of the skin bleaching and changing that Lil' Kim decided to do to her body.
That makes
Despite
sense.
all the bad things, quote unquote, that happened between Kim and Biggie, she still speaks of him as the person she loved most throughout her life. In Kim's words, the main thing that made her relationship with Biggie so difficult was his tendency to have multiple personalities. And each time Big turned into that other person, it was incredibly difficult for her to identify the man she loved so much. Regardless, Kim always knew that deep down Biggie was a loving person, and he had a special affinity towards her. He was a type who'd love you to death. I know he loved me to death.
Is that it? I guess that's it. Wow. Love, or what you think is love, really makes you do dumb shit. Makes you put up with shit you shouldn't ever have to put up with. And all of that. But damn, I feel bad though, because I thought the sister, no, it was a friend. But still, really? She's never a better person than nah, there's this guy I know who put up with so much shit from some dude. One of these guys I'm friends with put up with so much shit from some dude. But she said, but I know for a fact she would have walked away. The guy pulled a gun out on her. Not to mention had a wife, a side piece, and probably another side piece too. So that pulled a gun on her. Nah, she would have walked. I think she would have walked away after finding out about the wife, to be honest. But so yeah, Kim's definitely a better person than her in that regard, because she would have walked away. Damn, she really was a ride or die. But this guy really did make it difficult for her at times, didn't he? According to Kim and all these other lot. Damn. This shit was toxic though. Anyways, I'm right to comment seeing other people saying right now. Someone said the thing that separates Biggie and Lil' Kim from all the younger couples is that both could actually rap. Yeah, both of them could rap. Someone said, I always knew that skin bleaching was because of the way Biggie favored light-skinned women and her insecurities got the best of her. R.I.P. Yeah, rest in peace, Biggie. But it does make sense though. Then again, I say that a lot of the people that I previously got with left me for people who are younger and lighter skin tone, and you don't see me out here bleaching my skin. Just saying. So everyone handles shit differently, but I mean, if I had money, I definitely would change some things about myself, that's for sure. But then in that case, it's definitely a good thing I don't have much money. Someone said, Biggie was foul in his dealings with his women. Legendary rapper though. Yeah, he's a legend. He might have been foul when dealing with women, but he's a rap legend, and let's remember him that way. I'm letting this guy rest in peace, because honestly, the guy's a rap legend. Nothing can take that away from him. Nothing. Never. But yeah, I'm gonna head out before this ends up being like half an hour long. So yeah, interesting vid though, but damn, you thought all this shit? Nuts though. Anyway, so that's it for this video. Like, subscribe if you want. I post if whenever I feel like it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.